Okay, hello. Can you hear me? Anyway, so today we are going to read the second chapter of the ICC syllabi, The Cold Within. I'm just going to break it into two stanzas because I don't know whether my mobile will be able to take it or not. So let's break it into two stanzas and then we'll be carrying on like this. So The Cold Within, penned by James Patrick Kinney. So this poetry was actually written at the backdrop of Afro-American Civil War. It was the setting of the poem is Cincinnati, the western part of Cincinnati in America, which was actually one of the most important places, which was one of the most troublesome places where that apartheid issue took the entire country by storm. Not the country, the region, you can say. So I'm just going to read out the poetry. 6 humans trapped by happenstance in bleak and bitter cold, each one possessed a stick of food, or so the story is told. Actually, this is a very simple poetry about six people about a dying in the midst of a dying fire. The words are charged with symbolic significance that I would just keep on detailing every now and then after the lockdown is lifted anyways. So over here, the dying fire is not exactly the dying fire. If you go by the symbolic significance of the word, the dying fire actually means the selfishness. So the poetry is laying an emphasis on the selfish attitude of the human beings. So what we are getting to see is that there are 6 people. They are just sitting in a group, you can say, and in the midst of that 6 people there is a fire which is almost dying because of the log of wood, because of the log of, because of the fuel, actually, you can say. So the fire is dying. 6 humans trapped by happenstance. The word happenstance is not any chanced circumstances or any accident or anything of that. Happenstance actually means that it is actually a forced incident. Actually, God wanted to see what these people would be doing when they are just caught under the circumstances like this. And what is the situation and the setting? It is a very unbearable cold, quite chilly out there. They're quite chilled to bone or something like that. 6 humans trapped by happenstance. They were the chanced circumstances, and who was just making this thing possible? God himself. In bleak and bitter cold, each one possessed a stick of food, or so the story is told. As the story goes by, we can understand that each and every person in that particular group had a log of wood, like had a small piece of wood. And what we can understand by this, that if they happen to contribute their log of wood, if they happen to contribute that particular piece of wood to that fire, the fire would be continued and they would be comfortable. They would be comfortable for the time being, at least for the next dawn to come. The second stanza, sorry. The dying fire in need of logs. Now this dying fire is in dire need of logs. The fire which is dying is really in need of log, that wood, which would help it continue to continue to go on, actually, something like that. But the first one held her back. Now who is the first one? The first person living in that group. He is holding her back. She is holding her back. She is thinking to himself that no, I will not contribute. Why should I? Now let us see what are the reasons. For of the faces round the fire, she noticed one was black. Why? What was the reason? Because she noticed she noticed other 5 members who were present in that particular group, who were just crowding around the dying fire. One of them was black. So over here, the lady was suffering from apartheid issue. Just because she was white toned, or her skin tone was white, she did not really like the people who were black. As I told it earlier, that the poetry is written at the backdrop of Afro-American Civil War, where apartheid issue was a major problem. Okay,